From the darkest corners of Tumblr comes a podcast where we take two of your favorite fictional characters, get them together, and we ask, do we ship it? Hey guys, welcome back to Ships in the Night. Coming to you live, we're only days after the Grammy Awards, the stupendous, the amazing, the illustrious Grammy Awards.
That's right, and listeners, I have big news for you. Myself, Greg Goodness, and my co-host, Zach Wilson, we are now Grammy Award winners. That's right, first ever podcast to win a Grammy. You can check the internet, and you won't find another podcast that won a Grammy. So technically, if we just reach out, it's ours.
Yeah, I dare you, internet, to prove that any other podcast beat us for the best podcast award at the 2020 Grammys.
Can't be done.
It can't. No, you can't. You can't. And you know what? Grammy Awards, you're on notice. I don't know why.
Don't tell them they're on notice. What are we going to threaten the Grammys with? We have nothing. We have a studio apartment in Burbank.
Well, we had higher ratings.
Oh, you jerk.
Well, that aside, I want to welcome our fantastic guest. She's an actress and a host. It is ADRIAN SNOW.
Hello, everyone.
ADRIAN, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
ADRIAN, you and I yell about Doctor Who a lot.
We do.
Over on AfterBuzz TV.
We do.
I'm excited to get you in here
Yes.
to yell about some weird cross-fandom
Let's go
ships.
for it.
Let's get started with our first one of the night. This one, it feels relevant. It feels like one of these characters went through a crisis of sorts recently. We're talking about Supergirl, and let's just examine this, and then we'll figure out why after we get started. Luigi, or his full name, Luigi Mario.
Thank you for
So,
clarifying.
Kara L, or Kara Danvers, or Supergirl. She has a lot of names.
Kara Zor-El?
Kara Zor, is it Kara Zor-El?
Zor-El.
Was Zor-El? Whatever.
I watched it today. They said
I
Zor-El.
trust you more than me on that one.
Maybe. I could be wrong.
And then Luigi Mario.
Right, Green Mario, as some people confusedly call him. I'm not gonna lie, this one is pretty confusing to me.
No, I totally see it, because both of these characters have to look up at their much, much more popular, like,
Counterpart.
older family member.
I don't know. Well, one, I'm just not realizing that Mario's name is Mario. So that kind of just blew my mind.
That's canon.
That's crazy. Crazy canon. But I can see, I got to say I've always had an affection for Luigi. I've always had an affection for Supergirl. They're kind of like the underdog, even though they're honestly the better players. If you think about it, Luigi's much better to play with.
That's sort of the thing. I think both of them are more interesting than their
Counterparts.
elder. They're not Superman is Supergirl's cousin, but elder family member.
Yeah.
They're generally, I think, more interesting, but they do not have the big respect that the general public has for Mario and Superman.
They also get to be more complicated,
Yeah.
Superman's boring. Let's be real. Clark, boring.
But there is
Superman is so boring. I mean, really, I think that's the common thread, is that they have to deal with these super fucking boring siblings and family members. It's just like, oh my God, my cousin Superman. He's just like a straight-laced reporter, and he gets into a phone booth and Luigi's just like, I know what you mean.
Exactly.
My brother Mario, he's always smiling. He's never scared. He never hunts ghosts. I don't understand.
He's been playing the same game for so many years.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do an Italian accent.
No, that is perfect. You've reached the apex of what is come to be expected at this
By
podcast.
standards of whatever land Mario and Luigi come from, which ostensibly is probably not Italy,
Definitely not.
unless you're playing Mario Teaches Typing. But so whatever accent we want to give them, that's like,
hey, it's Mario. It's me, that one.
there you
That's
go.
the one.
Perfect. Spot on. But so I think what we really got to figure out here is the meet cute for these two. Because I do see the similarities in like what they've had to deal with in like being like near the spotlight, but not in it all the time. I mean, Supergirl's got a much more popular TV show right now than Superman. But
I think it
What do we
went down like Supergirl was flying through the sky and a giant ass coin came and hit her in the ass and she fell down. And when she fell down, Luigi was there collecting the coin. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Did I hit you in the ass with my coin?
He hit a big block that sent the coin flying in the air. Supergirl just collides with it.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Exactly.
I can see that.
Luigi is just terrified. He thinks it's like a Lakitu falling from the sky. He's like, where is your cloud? My God, my world is falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Luigi wears a cape sometimes. He gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can fly sometimes. Usually on the back of a dinosaur turtle thingy, my baba.
Yeah, but like he could put on the yellow cape.
That's true.
Super Mario World. He
can do
puts
that.
on the yellow cape with the feather, and he can like bounce.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
true.
understand the Supergirl. Oh, where is your Tanuki suit? Oh, how are you able to fly without the little raccoon tail?
Oh my God, this is getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves, but like I totally want to see these two having a romantic night flying through the sky, where
Oh,
Supergirl is just flying like normal, and then you have a Tanuki Luigi just like his tail batting in the wind.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It's so cute.
Flashbacks.
So okay, so these two. Do they just meet in midair? Is that what's
I
happening?
think if she falls down, then she's kind of like in that world. And maybe, maybe she takes him to like a coffee shop. Maybe he takes her to some type of weird underground lair where she can fight other turtle like monster thingies.
Yeah.
All right.
I can totally see that. If like she's the person coming in like, listen, I don't have time to stick around in this Mario land of yours. I have to fight some villains.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God,
Imagine-
you want monsters.
So what if it's that she's like trapped in Mario World?
That could be, but I also think it'd be really cool if she if they get like further into the relationship. I'm jumping ahead a bit, and she introduces him to the Justice League and like their response to Luigi.
yeah.
I think that would be fun. I think
I
her
like
being
that.
trapped in his world, after a while she'd be like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, I think that's where it sort of starts. Is like if she finds herself through some, let's say Mr. Mixelplix gets involved
some
here.
crisis.
He has to have. Has he been on the CW
Which
stuff?
one?
Mr. Mixelplix.
Yes.
Don't ask me to spell it. Okay.
He was briefly on it.
So he bends some universe stuff, breaks things,
Tried
and
to
then
marry her.
Kara's like flying through, and like, how did I get here? It's so colorful
Yeah.
and two-dimensional, and she collides with a coin because there's no side to side
Yeah.
in this world, and that's where.
So we're going with original Super Mario, not like Nintendo 64 Mario.
I think we can go as high as we'll go. Well, for now,
The
it's all
Super
the same.
family has a very poor history with the Nintendo 64 console. I don't think they want anything to do with that.
So these are 2D.
It's in the most recent one. They go in between. They go back and forth. Sometimes they're 2D, sometimes they're 3D,
Okay.
depending on where you go.
Cool.
This part she just happens to be in a 2D one.
Cool.
But I am thinking about Super Mario Brothers 3 because then it's like they meet.
Mhm.
They sort of like Luigi's like, well, I can help you, and then there you have to go off and try to find one of those warp whistles.
Okay.
I mean, if she does introduce him to the Justice League, like I can see that Luigi, she sees him at some point, like just mowing through all of these enemies, right?
Yeah.
And like jumping a little bit higher than the average person can.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen, I got a group of people that would love to meet you. Spitting fireballs, like limited invincibility powers, depending on what power-ups you can get.
How many stars you can get?
Yeah.
I mean,
can see
you
her
get
being down
you
for
get
that.
Luigi utility belt to have like mushrooms and feathers and all those
Yeah.
stuff like at the ready. He's dangerous.
I mean, you give him a go-kart as well, let him run over stuff, and then he connects little turtle shells around, and then he has like little banana peels. Like he's a full superhero if you really think about it. He's got the car and everything.
Wonder Woman is just furious, like, I had my invisible plane, and that was the
Yeah.
set mode of transportation, and you bring in a goddamn go-kart.
Listen, and then also for like what's the one way to one up like Princess Peach is just to bring in Supergirl. Like that's Mario's love interest, and now Luigi's coming in with like a leggy blonde. You know?
Listen, Mario, some of us like a strong female
You know?
protagonist.
They don't need to be safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to be her brunette cousin who just looks the same and has a Noah story.
Exactly.
Sorry for any Daisy lovers out there.
Oh, I didn't even know about her, so I'm double sorry because I didn't know.
But so these two, so they get through, they go through a bunch of levels. It's even easier because Supergirl can just like laser people to death. They don't just like, the Koopas don't just like pop out of their shells like when Luigi jumps on them and like fly down. Oh, they flew off they're just dead.
They're just dead. Everything dies.
They find a warp whistle. They get there. It's like hidden in one of the, because she can just fly up. You don't have to do any weird like Tanuki fly up and go between. But she just goes up and gets it, and then they find themselves back on Earth 1. Mm-hmm. And what happens then? Like, so they go to the Justice League. They just initiate Luigi.
I think they would want to put him through a trial. Like, so let's say we're like, okay, let's say we're like outside of the CW universe back into just like the comic book universe of the Justice League. So the Arrow's still there, right? Okay, actually, it's hard. Wait, no, he's not there. But anyway,
Spoilers for the CW universe.
Sorry, like where have you been? It was 2
Go
months
watch
ago.
Crisis. It's fun.
Go watch Crisis. Get on it. Go watch the past 8 years of Arrow.
You know that whatever trial they put him through, though, it's gonna be fucking easy peasy for Luigi. He's gonna be like,
You
wait,
think
so there's no time limit? I can take as long as I want to do this trial.
I think it is challenging, but I think that Kara stays up late into the night helping him study for the exams.
Oh, maybe.
Helping him practice, because he can throw fireballs at her all day.
Yeah.
And I think this is where they start to fall for each other.
So at this point, they're just like friendly, hanging out, and then they have like their moment where they're like, oh, I'm romantically interested in you.
I mean, Luigi, much like Mario, while you're in the levels, you're just focused on the end result.
He's just focused on getting to that work.
He's just moving forward. Just keep moving forward. You can't move back. You just gotta keep going forward. And he gets her home. But now that they're spending more time together,
yeah, he's in the loft, or whatever her apartment is, in various different versions, and she's teaching him how to control the fireball. And maybe she just looks down at that. Because, he's taller than Mario, but he's not taller than Supergirl. She looks down at that goofy little face. And, just they make out and they get right to it.
She just lasers off one of his overalls.
Yeah, just the one. Takes off the hat and you realize he's bald underneath. She, rubs that bald head. I think they're bald underneath, right?
Oh, my.
Yeah. And then that's, I don't even know how that worked.
I mean,
no, that's a valid question, because that sort of is my concern in terms of sexual compatibility, is that there is the very real possibility that Supergirl would destroy Luigi when they were having sex.
But he can also just, get a one-up, like a life. Just keep
just
going.
constantly.
Just gotta, just have stars just ready.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Passes out, grabs another one.
Man. Sex on a superstar? We've never talked about that before on this podcast, as far as I can remember. But maybe he has to have superstars at the ready for their sexy times.
Yeah. Just to keep it going. He gets a little bit taller. The music starts playing. He's fluttering or whatever he does. A little, they come in and out of the light. And then she's a part of it too. And
At that point, he's got so much energy.
Yeah.
In that point, it's literally a drug.
This has always been the concern with the super family. A big concern with Clark and Lois was, how does she deal with having sex with Superman? Because,
And we can go all the way back to Mallrats for that conversation. We never got an answer.
We never got an answer.
Kryptonite condom? I don't know.
What I've
Somebody
always
asked Kevin Smith.
heard is that basically, Superman kind of tones it down to have sex with Lois, because then he does end up having a relationship with Wonder Woman, and that's like when he can like just be like full like powerful and stuff.
I remember Smallville, like in in the later seasons when Lana Lang gets powers of her own, and they can like go at it, and there's like sonic booms going off because they're having sex.
It's like my crazy ex super girlfriend, or like that movie with Uma Thurman where she was has superpowers.
Oh, right.
They talk about it too. I think also because Luigi is in his own way like a superpowered being, that they would be able to handle each other.
I mean, look, he pops a power up mushroom, so he gets bigger.
Yep. Takes the star.
He gets the star. And here's the problem: those stars only last like roughly 10 seconds.
You know, you just got to keep going. And if they're both like at superpower, does it really matter how fast you're going? Because you're both like going at it so fast and intensely. I'm sure you know, if you're both like superpowered.
Right. They only need 10 seconds to finish. Multiple times for both of them. Like by second 8, he's like, I'm going to put on the Tanuki suit just to make a difference.
You know?
Oh, man. Just Kara into the Tanuki suit?
Oh, of course she is.
So that's the one with the hat and the raccoon.
That's the raccoon suit.
The raccoon suit. I think so. I think that he probably puts on the Tanuki suit, takes up the star, the mushroom, and then they just shoot off into the sky, and they just fuck in the sky. Like, just like over...
Nice.
Metropolis or
that
wherever
tail's getting some places.
City is. I can't remember the name of where she's at, but yeah.
New Donk City.
He opens a little zipper in the front of the Tanuki suit.
Yeah, and they just keep going. You know,
that's so hot and so just
weird,
bizarre. Yes. I love it. I love this podcast sometimes. So clearly they have a good sex life.
Yeah,
but does this relationship hold up over time? Is a big question. And I'm not sure. I mean, they're both good people.
Yeah.
I think Luigi's generally a good person, but he also is not, I don't know that he's the superhero type. He kind of likes having a job. I mean, he's been a plumber, he's a ghost hunter / like, I don't know, is he a maid? He carries vacuums a lot. But he likes having jobs. He likes changing up his activities.
Yeah. I think work is very important to Luigi. And I think, you know, eventually he's going to want to go back to work with his brother. And Mario's not going to want to come to No. Where is she?
Earth 1. Well, Earth 1.
Because he's the star in Super Mario Land. You know, like Mario, it's called Mario, Super Mario Brothers.
But is this the time? Is this what gets Luigi to be like, no, this is my time, Mario. You have your fun.
Well, I think also he would probably after a while just start to get really intimidated by all of Kara's super friends. Like the Flash is there, and then you know.
Luigi starts looking at his like tiny body compared to the Flash.
John Jones is there, Brainiac. You know, sometimes her ex-boyfriend from the future comes back, and they're all very tall and muscular, and they don't need superstars to have sex with her. So I think after a while, that's
do they get into a fight about like? You always need the superstars. Yeah. What do you want? You would have crushed me.
Yeah. So I think that after a while, he would just kind of be like, okay, I got to go. One, I'm not doing anything here. Like, you don't have turtles, like, trying to take over your world. You don't have, like, you know, you have other plumbers that come and fix your stuff. Like, when plumbers in Kara Danvers' world, like, actually have to deal with actual shit. Like, actual shit and piss. When's the last time Luigi or Mario have had to deal with that? You know, I think they would be like,
oh my god.
Usually they're technically they work, I think, for like the Department of like Transportation.
Yeah.
Like being like they work on pipes, but pipes don't do the same thing in that world.
Yeah.
Luigi goes into the real world to go down some pipes and he is horrified.
Yeah. You know, I don't think he would be down for being a plumber in real life or, you know, dealing with kitchen shit. Like, plumbing in Kara Danvers' world is not fun. It's not, you know, an adventure. So he would want to go back and be with his brother. Maybe, you know, call up Daisy, apologize, say he just had to get that thrill of one-upping his brother for once, and then
He's like,
not gonna make her feel any better. But
move into the mansion with me, Daisy.
yeah, go back to Mario Kart and doing his thing.
All right, that's sad. It's sad for Luigi.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like ultimately, I don't ship it, so this it works out fine for me. As a man who made a 22-point PowerPoint slideshow on why I want to get into Luigi's overalls.
This is a true story.
I am totally fine with him not hooking up with Supergirl so that I can.
Ha!
So, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this. What do you guys think?
I guess I ship it because that's hot as hell. I'm gonna say I ship it. So Adrian, for the deciding vote of like the tiebreaker on this one,
Ooh,
really
boy.
it's just your opinion because there's no one wins in this scenario. Do you ship it?
Do I ship it?
Luigi and Supergirl, do you ship it?
No.
Yeah.
No, only just because I feel bad for both of them at some point. I just feel like they'd both be like, "What am I doing?" And Kara's got it so hard in the love department.
That's fair.
She's just not getting.
I just want
Decent
that
men.
weird, like I can show you the world scene with
Yeah.
with Tanuki, Luigi, and Kara flying over
Or
Metropolis.
the weird monologue from Superman where it's just Lois like monologuing in her head, but with the one with Christopher Reeve. You're just like, why is this happening like that? Yeah, I can see it.
Well, we didn't find them love today,
Did not.
but we have another ship coming up right after this. Stick around. And we're back with our next ship. This one, we're going from two the working class people, and we're going to go up to the high echelon, the richest people in the world.
Yes.
We're talking about Tahani al Jamil from The Good Place and Scrooge McDuck from Ducktales. Woohoo, indeed. Thank you for being on the same page.
Yes,
with me.
yes. How can you not go woohoo after someone says DuckTales?
So, obviously, these two are both rich.
Yeah.
Is there more to it? Does this work as a couple? What do you guys think? First reactions.
Yeah, I think 100% it works because they're both vapid enough to work with each other. Like, she's so obsessed with money and appearances, and he's just so obsessed with money. Like, he can swim in gold coins. And I think even at one point, I could be wrong, was it Scrooge or Donald who appeared as the devil at one point, like in a cartoon way back in the day?
As the devil?
Yeah.
I believe Donald.
It was Donald. Well, Scrooge probably would be the devil too. So, they both got that, spoiler, bad place feel. So
Scrooge, I think, would actually be more likely to fight the devil for his coins, and also just like for the adventure of it. Because that's the thing that I think people often overlook with Scrooge McDuck. He's not just about the money. He loves adventure.
Yeah.
And also adventure gets him money. So it's a win-win.
He's like the Thomas Crown
Okay.
of Looney Tunes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
like he always liked the adventure, but he also really liked the money.
Yeah.
Thomas Crown Affair, you guys. Great movie. The Pierce Brosnan one.
Now that, I mean...
You're talking to a couple of guys who just tried to ship people from The Good Place and a children's cartoon. The Thomas Crown Affair is maybe a little bit over our heads.
No. It's so silly, you guys.
Shh, Greg.
The Steve McQueen one is probably over people's heads. I was like, the fancy.
But these two...
Here's where I have a problem with it, is that she is very much a philanthropist. She's all about holding events and galas and trying to
appear.
Solve the world's ills.
It's appearances over money for Tahani.
Right.
Except
And
for that diamond.
Scrooge is just, I have never seen him donate a single shilling to charity. I mean, it takes 3 whole fucking ghosts to get this guy to separate with some of his cash.
Yeah.
So, like, I I just think that there might be a problem there where she's all like, oh, well, let's start up a clean water foundation. And he's like, why would I do that when I can't do the voice.
I think, well, isn't it Scottish?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't sound like Donald.
Yeah.
He just sounds like David Tennant having a good time.
Basically, the only thing I can say with a Scottish accent is "Timber is beastie." That's it.
Ooh, that's good.
Because David Tennant said that in an episode of Doctor Who, and I was like, "Oh, Timber is beastie." I can't even do it anymore. It's hard.
Well, if that's all that Scrooge McDuck has to say, then you are our new voiceover.
Perfect.
I'm not even gonna try.
Hire an actual Scottish man.
Yeah.
But I do think that Scrooge does try to do good in the world. He just doesn't want it to cost him money.
Yeah.
There is, and here's the thing about Tahani. I don't think she really is obsessed with money. She really is more about the appearance of having money. Because like you mentioned the diamond thing. Because then they're like, "I'll get you a bigger diamond," and she's like, "No, then this would be worthless."
Yeah.
Like the money value of it has nothing to do with it. She just wants to have the highest social value of anyone.
True, but I think she also wants the access as well, because like there are people, you could be like the most famous Instagrammer and be, broke, just by how
Spoiler
Instagram
alert.
works. And I don't think that would be as appealing to her as being able to have the access that comes with money as well.
And Scrooge McDuck has access
Yeah.
to anything he desires,
Yeah.
more or less. Like he has a movie studio
Yeah.
that he just bought recently to relaunch Darkwing Duck.
Oh,
One of the best episodes of TV I've seen in a long time.
nice.
Just a side note.
He's got race cars. Second thing I can't remember.
He's got
airplanes.
submarines, blimps,
Yeah.
airplanes.
He's got a pool just made of gold coins, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, Tahani, I think, is in from the get-go.
yeah.
That's no question. But
Well, what is the get go? That's my question.
what is the
here.
meet cute?
Yeah.
5 minutes into this conversation.
But, I think, that one's a tougher one.
I mean, I think it's just, look, Scrooge still has parties.
Yeah.
Like, he does throw parties, and Tahani
Just happens to show up.
winds up at the party. I think they meet that way.
Yep.
Maybe she's like heard tell of the gold coins, or actually, as I'm saying this out loud, has Scrooge McDuck died?
No. I think what it is that I think Tani's like, oh, my sister came to your party last time and I wanted to see what it was all about. Like, however she is. Yeah, I think that it's probably something where it's just a revenge scheme or vindictive thing of like, just like, I want to be as impressive as my sister. If Scrooge died, then what are we shipping?
Well, no, because he died and went to like the good place, and they meet in the afterlife.
So which season of this?
Yeah, this is a
current
big
one?
question.
Let's keep them alive for the
Alright.
time being, because otherwise my mind is gonna get scrambled.
I'm just saying, if they died early on, then he could have met her in the bad place, which seems like, but I don't know. He could probably go to the good place, but
Let's
then we have
keep
to
them on
break
Earth
down the good
1.
place.
Please.
Yes.
Let's make
No.
that a unifying theory of this podcast that takes
This
place
is
on
not Earth
1.
1. We're not in the DC multiverse right now, Greg.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's what I think actually gets them together, because yes,
Okay.
they go to this party, and of course she absolutely wants to outdo her sister.
Yeah.
But Scrooge throws parties, but he doesn't throw her kind of parties. He's very much like, look at my wealth and my extravagant gifts. Aha, what gross displays of capitalism we have here. And she is gonna work her way in and just be like, listen, I love what you're doing here. It's beautiful. Your state is marvelous. But
really
it's a tad gaudy, isn't it? And she is gonna like position herself as like, listen, I've done a lot of these parties. I know how to make these things go off the hook. I'm gonna bring you, Scrooge McDuck, into like the 21st century of being a rich philanthropist, dude. We're gonna take you away from like the John D. Rockefeller like crazy mansion, and now all of a sudden you're like, well, what if we we had like the Scrooge McDuck Foundation and
I
you
don't know.
donate a bunch of wells to people.
I think that would be a hard sell.
But that's gonna be the like sort of makeover transition that gets these two together.
And I think Tahani does know the value of charity also improving an image thing.
True.
Because I could see Scrooge like being like, oh, I need to improve my image because people just think
True.
I'm this guy who dives into pools of gold coins
And I'm
all
a
the
hoarder.
time. So I think he relents and lets her sort of do this like makeover. It's a makeover sequence.
It'll
And
do wonders for your image, and also the IRS will get off your back. And he's like,
True.
I'm in.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. That's the way to
Hide
get
my
it.
money in a foundation in the Cayman Islands. I'm
Yeah.
sold.
so these two start working together. What gets them together romantically, though?
Oh, man. See, I'm thinking that maybe it's an old-timey Scottish jig.
A dance?
Yes, a dance, but specifically a jig that, like, she is curious about the world, yes, and, like, you were saying, Zach, curious for adventure. Maybe at one of these grand events, he's like, this was my kilt, you know?
And she's feeling it.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I don't know anything about that particular culture. And then he's like, oh, well, let me show you. Sweeps her off her feet, and he does have the lower body strength to do that because he's very round at the bottom, even though he has very thin legs. The feet are very wide, so they can support a great amount of weight on either side. And just they are dancing the night away, locking eyes. And realizing,
Isn't
like,
she like almost 6 feet tall?
he swept her off her feet. She's
Okay.
very, very low to the ground at this
Okay,
point.
I don't think she would like that. I don't think that would work.
Okay.
I mean,
don't know.
and let's be fair. Tahani like sees the kilt. Like, well, the only kilt that I know about is the only experience I have with that is seeing river dance, and really I inspired the steps that in. But that's not a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know. I think him showing like a soft side would help. Like, you know, that kind of, because didn't he also have his own like Christmas Carol? So like her being kind of like lured into, I think that's also why she liked Jason. Good place.
Yep.
It's because he had a softer side.
Right.
I feel like that's the way that Scrooge would kind of get in that way.
Maybe
And-
it's that
yeah.
when she meets the nephews
Yeah.
that she sees that
Fuck,
how
that is it.
Yeah.
like she's like ready to walk
Shit.
up, but then she sees how good he is with
With those kids.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and it's like there is a good person in there.
Exactly. And you know, she's all about that good person. Like she likes finding the goodness in people now.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the way in for him. And then maybe, you know, she's looking at that duck bill and she's like, wonder what that duck bill gonna do. No,
I know we just went into a long description of how Luigi and Supergirl do stuff, but I almost don't want to know what these two do behind closed doors.
Oh, I don't think Scrooge McDuck has a penis at all. So I'm pretty sure it's all mouth stuff.
I don't know. Ducks hide their stuff some away.
I guess. I mean, I guess if he has nephews, and that means that Donald has something, so he must have something.
Yeah.
I
There's
don't know.
something going on in
But it's
there.
just
I
like him,
do
like,
love
wagging
the
his tail.
idea that you were so against her being swept off her feet. You're like, that would never happen. And then you're just instantly on board for duckbill mouth stuff.
What that duck bill do? No, I mean, like, I think at least that's like closer to where you know, his mouth was there.
It's also just like by accident we had two ships with really short guys and really tall women.
Hell yeah, it can work. We're representing all the short guys out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And All right. So these two start dating. Is this a public relationship necessarily?
Page 6. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
She's
no,
all
not
about
at
that.
first, privately.
Oh, really?
Private.
Because
and
she's
then-
all about it, but he would be more reserved.
I think she would be less about it at first.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Because, yeah, sure, he has a lot of money, but aesthetically, he's a duck. You know?
But he also
So-
values his privacy. So
True.
if neither of them, if she doesn't want to put it public, he's never going to be the one putting pressure
True.
on her. I think Tahani is like, see, Scrooge McDuck is world famous,
Yeah.
and if she can pair herself with him,
Mhm.
that's like perfect. Just like publicity mystique for her, raise her image, and people start talking about her. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
stop talking about Camilla.
Yeah, she could. I don't know. I don't know. I think
She gets Scrooge
she
to
would
buy
pull
out
off.
the museum that Camilla's about to put stuff up in and cancel her exhibit.
yeah.
Which Scrooge is all
Oh,
about.
because he's kind of vindictive, so he would
Oh, yeah.
totally be down for
He
that
will
kinda
spend
aspect.
the money to
Yeah.
make people suffer.
Yes, and I think okay, so this is definitely like alive Tahani that she would be down for that. You know, like
Oh yeah.
because there's no points and she doesn't know what's
Even
about to
if
happen
this
to her.
is like part of me is like seeing this as like they wound up in this is a reboot of The
Mhm.
Good Place where they are in Duckville for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I can see that.
Michael's just like, let's try it this way. Boom. And they're just in the world of DuckTales. And Tahani meets
Meet Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck as part of this experiment.
I would be down for that.
So then you
Out of
have
those 800 years.
Eleanor, Chidi, and Jason also running around in this city
Yeah.
somewhere.
Chilling with the
Launchpad and
nephews.
Jason have broken everything.
Yes, 100%.
Eleanor is causing mischief with Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yes.
And Chidi is just a ball of nerves. He doesn't know. This is the worst thing he's ever seen.
It would probably be his, like, that is his ultimate bad place for 100%.
Yep.
100%.
So we have to ask, though, how is this relationship going to end? Because I don't know. To me, these two don't last.
Tahani dies.
Didn't we just establish
Spoiler.
that they're already dead?
No, we said that they weren't going to be dead because we don't want to deal with the
No, but they're in
complications of
they're in the good.
Oh, right. We did that one.
They're in
so
a
then she dies.
reboot,
and
a Good Place
she gets
reboot.
rebooted again. Or Eleanor comes along and is like, "This is the bad place," and Tony's like, "Clearly, I'm in love with a dog."
But I think these two break up even before that.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think these two are like going so strong that
Well, I
they're.
think
Maybe it's
but-
when they break up that's what triggers Eleanor to be like, "This is the bad
maybe.
place." It's like so like they're.
But she stayed with Jason. You know, so what that duck bill do? If that duck bill, if that duck bill's good, she'll stick around.
Yeah.
I think it's that at the end of the day, she's not really the adventure type. I think that Scrooge doesn't mind getting his hands dirty and getting into like the nitty gritty of a situation to like whether it's running off to save the boys
Yeah.
or break into a new ancient tomb that he discovered.
Yeah.
Tahani's just not about that. And I think Scrooge gets bored.
Yeah. I don't think that he's necessarily that great of a guy.
The point is,
Great of a duck.
I don't think that these two make it.
Yeah.
We gotta ask, like, do we ship it? Greg, let's start with you.
I want to see it happen. I want to see what that duck bill do. So like, listen, even if it doesn't work out, like it's great tabloid fodder. I think that certainly Scrooge is gonna grow a little bit from it.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, like we get a sham charity organization out of it that could probably at least theoretically do some good.
Yeah.
That money isn't going to do any good just sitting in a vault. Like, she should shovel some of it out onto the world.
Yeah.
Build a school or something. I don't know. So, for that reason alone, I ship it.
Adrian?
I ship it because I think that they could balance each other out. Like, I think he would calm down her like need for aesthetic approval because he's got so much money, and I feel like she would make him more charitable because she'd be good with the nephews and she'd get him to curb his you know, miserly ways.
I don't ship it. This is the
Ruin
bad
the
place.
consensus.
This is the bad place, you guys.
Whatever. The bad
No.
place is different now.
I do want to find someone for Tahani,
Yeah.
because I think she deserves to find like a great person to be with.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's Scrooge. Not for me, anyway.
that's fair.
All right, guys, we are going to take another quick break, and then we're going to come back with our matchmaker segment to close out the episode. Stick around. And we're back, and it's time for the matchmaker segment. Adrian has brought us a single from fiction that we are going to find love for. So let's open the dating service up. Adrian, who have you brought us today?
So I brought my friend Lex from season 1 of Westworld. He's a tech who mainly works up in the cleanup station. So he's kind of had a rough go of it. He kind of got kidnapped by a sentient robot named Maeve. And she kind of took him along this journey. And then he like really wanted to help her. But then he kind of betrayed her. But in any case, I think it's just time for him to find somebody, you know? I think it's time for him to exit Westworld, come back to real life, and spend his time with someone else. Like, he nearly died like a bajillion times there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Greg, I think we've got a couple options here for who to set up Mr. Lutz with. Why don't you kick us off?
So I think that Lutz needs someone who understands the experience of being in a futuristic world and maybe working as someone in the scientific field, but really delegated to more of a cleanup position. So that's why I want to pair him off with Dr. Zoidberg from Futurama. Now, Dr. Zoidberg also had many brushes with death and didn't necessarily handle them all so well. He's not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree, which, like, Lutz is maybe not, like, he's smart, but not too smart, you know? So I think that what you're really getting is just a nice averaging out, like two very worn down pennies finally finding each other in the bottom of a futuristic robot pocket.
All right.
But it wouldn't be a matchmaker service if we didn't offer you a little bit of variety. So, Zach Wilson, would you be so kind as to pitch an alternative?
I would be happy to. Because what I think Mr. Lutz here needs is he needs somebody who's going to help him get back down to earth. Somebody who understands what it's like to be in a thankless job and deal with people who think they're better than you all the time. That's why I want to pair him up with the janitor from Scrubs. The janitor is a guy who has lived that life. He has been through the muck, cleaned up the worst messes. But you know what? He never lets it affect his time, his personality. He is still strong-headed at every turn. He doesn't take shit from anybody. And that's what I think Mr. Lutz here needs to learn how to do. He needs to learn to really take charge of himself. And I think that with the janitor by his side, they can both be happy living in their, like, not so high-level jobs. They're going to be a little, maybe menial work, but they're going to learn to love it together and be strong together.
Okay. Cool.
So we've got two options for you there.
Yes.
We've got Dr. Zoidberg
Yes.
and
The janitor.
janitor.
From Scrubs.
from Scrubs. He doesn't have a name. He's just the janitor. So Adrian, do you have any questions for us before we go into our rebuttal round?
I guess, like, what would be, like, a first date for these characters with Lutz?
That's an excellent question.
All right.
I know what I'm gonna do.
All right. Greg, go ahead.
Just the most beautiful dumpster dive that you can ever imagine. Zoidberg is going to take him out back behind the Planet Express and go rummaging through all of these old parts that the professor has created, which is going to be stimulating for Lutz. And Zoidberg is, of course, going to get something out of it in finding a delicious bit of trash to eat up. And so I think these two are going to set the tone of their relationship moving forward, together in that beautiful, cozy, warm dumpster.
Okay.
Now, the janitor is going to take Lutz for a beautiful candlelit dinner. Granted, it's going to be in the hospital dining room, but he is going to use his janitorial skills, going to go diving into those lost and found bins, going to get a really nice tablecloth to put down. There's probably some candles in there. He's going to put in the effort, because the janitor knows what people like. It might be a little awkward at first. They might bumble over each other, only in a cute rom-com way.
Okay.
And they're going to have some delicious hospital food, not out of a dumpster, from the kitchen.
Okay. Am I deciding now?
And so
With that nonplussed introduction, am I deciding now? Do I have to?
No.
This is what you've given me? Okay, well, I guess Lutz's life is ruined for the rest of eternity, but okay, well, it has to be one.
So yes, at this point, we want to set up your friend Lutz on a date with either Dr. John H. Zoidberg or janitor.
I'm gonna go with the janitor.
Smart choice.
Yes. I don't know how Lutz would feel about eating garbage, and I feel like, if anything, he'd like to be kind of taken back to a time before the future, just kind of like take a break from robots and future stuff. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go with the janitor from Scrubs.
Simple living and loving.
Yeah.
Adrian, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
This was so much fun. Where can people find you on the internet? Is there anything that you're doing that you're really excited about you want to tell them?
Oh, yes. So, well, you know, I'm on the Doctor Who After Show with you on Sundays at 7. I'm also on
Thank you for plugging.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm also on the Magicians After Show on Thursdays at 6 for AfterBuzz TV. I have an improv show if you're in LA local. It's at the Clubhouse first and third Mondays of the month, starting this Monday, or February 3rd, at 8 p.m., called Church Improv. And then I will be in Edinburgh for the International Improv Festival for that.
Awesome.
And I will be on the first episode of Showtime's Kidding with Jim Carrey on February something, first episode.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
That's the coolest thing I think somebody's dropped on this podcast. But, oh yeah, and I'm in this thing with Jim Carrey or whatever.
And I met Jim Carrey.
Very cool. That's Kidding.
Kidding
Is the name of the show.
Showtime.
Awesome. We will have to keep an eye out for that.
It's real quick, but I'm there. Yeah.
Greg, where can everyone find you?
I locked my Twitter account because of reasons. Yeah, no, you can find me performing occasionally at the Pack Theater in beautiful, sunny Hollywood, California.
And I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. Please be sure to follow the podcast itself on Twitter. We're also on Instagram at ShippingPod. And you can send us your ideas for what ships you want to see next by emailing your ideas to shipsinthenight@gmail.com or just tweet it at us.
Oh, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Miss ADRIAN SNOW. Sorry.
Yes.
Just say that.
Follow Adrian at Miss Adrian Snow. Follow Greg, I guess, in real life. Follow me at that
in
Zach
darkened
Wilson.
alleys when I look around over my shoulder. Please.
And follow the show itself at Shipping Pod. This has been Ships in the Night, casting off.